Hello 2K fans, it's Loshbomb here, and I'm going to talk to you about floaters and runners and how they apply to some of the best gold legends in the My Team mode. The first thing you need to do if you have a player who you want to try to hit a floater with is go into the practice mode and try and get some shots off. I first want to look at their hot zones and see where they're going to work best. So you can see, Oscar Robertson, he's got the center and the right side of the court. That's probably where you want to try the most of your floaters. And Oscar Robertson's tendency for the floater is 86. He's one of only two guys I'm going to cover in this video that have a runner tendency in the 80s, but it's for good reason. He's got a really good shot in traffic and shot off the dribble rating. He's a fantastic all-around point guard, so there's a reason why I want to cover him. And you can see he's got a pretty release. It's fairly quick. It's actually much quicker than his actual jump shot. And there's a slow-mo replay of it, and it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun to shoot floaters. It's not easy though. It requires a lot of practice. Checking out Iverson. He's got hot zones pretty much distributed evenly across the court. His is a much faster kind of punch up, and it kind of helps. You can see there's some arc to the ball, but not as much as some of the other legends. And his runner tendency is a 91. So in the 90s, coupled with his shoot in traffic, shoot off dribble, it is very good. However, he's got many other ways that he can score, especially with the finisher signature skill on him, so it may not be your go-to option. One of my favorites, this is probably my second favorite one, is going to be Isaiah, and his runner is just a quick punch, and he doesn't extend his arm completely like Penny or Peyton. He just kind of punches it out there in a three-quarter arm motion, and it's really a surprise. One of the great things about him is he can get his floater off really close to the basket. As you can see, that's an example, and with all the traffic around him, it's pretty cool because he'll actually launch it around some of the defenders. And if you've seen some of my previous videos where I highlight him as my sixth man, you'll see there's a floater in there. It's pretty cool right next to the basket around people. And Isaiah's definitely got one of the best floaters in the game because his tendency is a 98. That's only beaten by one other player. And from my research, I can only find one other guy that has a 98. So there's 199, he's a 98. Let's look at Jerry the Logo West. You can see he's going to do a lot of floaters in the middle and coming in at a 45-degree angle. And his is kind of a two-handed shot. It's very similar to Michael Jordan's or Lou Hudson's, which you'll see in a little bit. And there's nothing really spectacular or special about it other than it's a very consistent shot for him. In the slow-mo, just keep in mind he's got a 97 runner tendency, and as long as he can get it over somebody, it's not going to get blocked. It's going to be a great shot. Now this is my personal favorite just because of the arc off his shot. Gary Payton, look at that massive shot. Other people are going to think that a guy I'm going to show you two from now is going to be better than him. I personally like Gary Payton just because guys that have used him against me and have mastered his floater were able to destroy me, and that's something that I want to use. It's so easy to get off. You just need to hit the timing right, and you can see there he just has that full arm release, and the ball just floats way up in the sky. If you have a defender that's going up against him and he's 2 feet or more away, there's no way that ball is going to get blocked. It just gets so much height on that arc of the shot. But he's also got a teammate, and this is kind of one of the wild cards I threw in here. Detlef Schrempf. He is a 6'9" shooting guard. Small forward, and he's got an 88 runner tendency. That's incredible for a big man his size. You can see it's not the prettiest. It's very slow. He doesn't get a lot of elevation off his shot. But just think about that. He's a 6'9" guy. That's the tallest player I could see of a legend caliber to do a floater. And you can see it's not the easiest to float with him. I have to take a couple attempts for some of these guys to get their floaters off, but it's pretty cool that you can do a fairly reliable floater with Detlef Schrempf. Now, I've never played with him in the mode. That's something on my not-to-do list, but it's definitely available. This is probably the most popular guy to launch a floater with. That's going to be Penny. If you're fortunate enough to have him, you'll see. It's very similar to Gary Payton. I think the animation's just a tad bit faster, but the arc is pretty much the same. So as you can see there, he can do it far away from the basket. He can do it close to the basket. And I think I found that there's two different animations. You can see one. I'll have to retry this one. You'll see there's a quick release animation, which is right here, where he just kind of punches it in almost like a volleyball spike or whatever you want to call that. And there's another one where it's like the massive arcing shot. So he's got multiple floater animations. That's pretty cool. I don't know why that's the case. I mean, there's no defender obviously in practice mode, but that would be a situation where if a defender's close and needs to get off immediately, he can go to that animation or the other one right here where it's the standard floater animation, very similar to Gary Payton's, and it's beautiful. Love seeing Penny go out there and launch these floaters. We'll look at it a couple more times just because it's your classic floater off the glass there. Wow. Take one more look, and there he launches that, and it's good. All right, Lou Hudson. This is a guy that has a very good jump shot, and his floater is a 93 tendency, which is pretty good. When you couple that with all the rest of his ratings, it becomes a really good go-to shot. Unfortunately, for a small forward, he's only 6'5", so he will face some matchups there, and you can see he doesn't get a lot of elevation on that shot. But it's definitely something to put in his bag of tricks. And there's a slow-mo replay. All right, try out one more guy, one of Hudson's teammates, Pistol Pete. This is a fan favorite. You could see his runner's pretty much the same. One interesting thing with runners is I don't think there's anything to do with the shot timing stick. So you just basically put in the inputs. There's two on the Xbox that I know of. You can either be forward momentum towards the basket, hit the X button, and then reverse your momentum away from the basket and release the X button. I think that's the more difficult of the two. The one I go with is you hold down the shot release stick, you go forward on the momentum, and then just straight back on the shot release stick. So this is Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and backing up, Lou Hudson was a 93 floater tendency. Rauf was a 93 floater tendency as well. And I've noticed from the practice mode, he was by far the most difficult guy to get the floater off in this video. I had to do probably 20 takes to get this shot off. I don't know why that's the case. His release looks amazing, and I think it might have something to do with the fact that he has such a great mid-range game, and that for some reason that mid-range game trumps his ability to do a floater when it comes time to launch one off. So they're thinking you're probably trying to shoot a mid-range even though the floater has a better ability. This one kind of shocked me here. World Be Free. He's got a 98 runner tendency, and you can see it's a pretty good one. He gets him in close like that. I would call that more of a layup, but it's definitely the floater animation. But it's very quick release and very reliable. When you have him on your team, you know that you're going to be slashing towards the basket a lot of times, and it's cool that you can, look at that face, add a couple other animations. And then the cheesiest player in the game, in my opinion, Mark Price, can actually do a floater. So if you get tired of shooting those three-point shots, take it inside and try a floater. I also found it was somewhat difficult to get the floater off with him. One of the things I discovered going through the practice mode, trying to get all these video clips for you guys, is that to get the floater off, especially with the shot stick, it requires you to move the shot stick back extremely quickly. You can't delay. And with that, Mark Price has got a 94 floater tendency. And to recap, the top floater tendencies are going to be number 1, Gary Payton with a 99. Number 2 is a tie with World Be Free and Isaiah with a 98. And then number 3 is going to be a tie with Penny and Jerry West. Thanks for watching the video. Go out there and practice those floaters because they're a joy to use.